With me now to fact check the president's speech from last night, I'm joined by Daniel Dale. He's the Washington correspondent for the Toronto Star. He joins us now from the U.S. Capitol. Daniel, good morning. Great to see you.
Thank you.
So the president was misleading when it comes to what the Democrats have agreed to or not when it comes to the wall. I know that you have carefully dissected, parsed every word from the president. Let's begin with this clip when it comes to what he's saying about the Democrats.
Law enforcement professionals have requested $5.7 billion for a physical barrier. At the request of Democrats, it will be a steel barrier rather than a concrete wall.
So what's the real story here?
Democrats never requested a steel barrier. What happened was Trump has been proposing for 3 years a giant concrete wall. And then in the last few weeks, seeing that there was no support among Democrats for a concrete wall, he said, OK, I'll give you steel. But they haven't asked for steel at all. So this was never a Democratic request. This was something Trump offered up in an attempt to appease Democrats, but it's not working. So that claim is simply false.
Simply false. OK. Also, last night, Trump claimed that there would be no problem funding the border wall. Have a listen to this.
The border wall would very quickly pay for itself. The wall will also be paid for indirectly by the great new trade deal we have made with Mexico.
How's that going to work, Daniel?
Well, that doesn't work. First of all, we know in Canada, that deal has not been ratified by Congress, so the old NAFTA remains in force. Even if it is eventually ratified, which could take years, given that the Democrats now control the House, it doesn't pay for an infrastructure project. Even if it does produce some sort of benefit to American businesses, that's obviously not a funding stream for a giant, possibly $20, $25, $30 billion project. So the notion that the trade deal is going to pay for the wall is, again, false.
The president also spoke about criminals and drugs, specifically heroin, crossing the border from Mexico. Here's that sound.
Our southern border is a pipeline for vast quantities of illegal drugs, including meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. Every week, 300 of our citizens are killed by heroin alone, 90% of which floods across from our southern border.
Tell us about the numbers that you have found, Daniel.
Well, Trump's own Drug Enforcement Administration has made clear on several occasions that most of the heroin that crosses the southern border comes through legal ports of entry. So, it's being smuggled through legal border crossings, in the back of the truck. And so, it's fair for Trump to talk about the drugs that come to the southern border, but it's unfair for him to suggest that would solve this problem, given that most of it is already coming through areas that where the U.S. has border guards, border infrastructure.
All right, we have to talk about the Democrats. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi offered that rebuttal last night. We can't let them completely off the hook. They're facing some criticism, too, today, Daniel.
Yes. Sorry, I thought you were going to play a clip. Yeah, I think their speech made a bunch of contestable claims. They said that Trump is using, fear rather than facts. He's governing by temper tantrum and so on. And so this is all subjective political rhetoric. I mean, Trump's defenders, supporters could reasonably argue, no, this is not a temper tantrum. This is a reasonable policy stance, et cetera. But looking for strictly factually incorrect claims, I didn't see any. I don't think they got anything, factually wrong there.
All right. Did you count last night how many falsehoods there were?
I haven't done a full count. I think there were at least 5 in Trump's speech that were false or misleading, but I haven't come to a final judgment.
Yeah, so I was wondering if you'd done the math, because he spoke for, 8 or 9, 10 minutes, 5 factual inconsistencies, whatever you want to call them. Did he have a good night? Did he have a bad night, Daniel, overall for President Trump? How did he do?
Well, you never want to say that, 5 inaccurate statements are a good night for a president.
Right.
Making it. But I think that if that is the number, that would be relatively low for him on immigration. Usually it's just a barrage of false claims. So I think this was relatively restrained by Trump standards, but not by anyone else's standards.
Relatively restrained. All right, Daniel Dale, thanks so much. Daniel's the Washington correspondent for the Toronto Star.
Thank you.